Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from S123 Trader. It is almost noon o'clock in Vancouver, Vancouver and Victoria, British Columbia. Almost 3 p.m. Eastern time. I am awake. Almost 3 p.m. Eastern time on the East Coast, and we're back for the last hour of the day. And quite a session today. Did what it sort of did what I expected, but it's been quite a battle, as you can see from the charts here. So let me I'm just going to see if my multiple indices charts are back. I'm just going to come back down here and see if they're back at this time. Remember, it was on maintenance mode this morning. And I'll do an overview of what transpired this morning. Okay, this is not looking, okay, there we go. All right, let's see if we can get them back. So hope everybody's doing well. So anyone who is a member of the Simple 123 Trader group has access to the microphones. Others will not. You can type your questions if you have any in the chat, and we'll see if we can help you. Okay, so it looks like I've got them back. So I'm going to put my diamonds in here, put my Qs, Q, in this one, put my SPY. So right now we're looking at the futures, and I want to put it onto the tradable instruments, IWM, down here. Okay, there we go. Breaking news, gold bulls bask in a 3-month high on Valentine's Day. Okay, so what you were saying this morning, Stacy, gold looking to go up. Seems that's what's happening.
It's actually come back a little bit.
Let's see how gold look. XAU, go to the daily. Okay, so wow, quite a lot of news and stuff on that. So pushing up, that's on the daily. It's not too badly. It's at a tough area right now because it's sitting right at a big resistance. So it's going to have a hard time trying to get through there, I'm sure, for a while. But I guess the gold bulls are happy. All right, back to IWM. Okay, so this morning, this is on the daily 4-hour, 1 hour, 15. Okay, 5. I just want to show you what transpired this morning. Okay, so the market opened on the 14th right here. That's on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so let me just make it bigger. The market opened right on this bar, this green bar right here. This morning, I bought the 204 calls, looking for price to come up into the 204, at least the 204 anyways, and it fell short. I missed getting out, and price dropped all the way back down. Actually, it went down first, came back up, had a chance to get out. I didn't take it, and it dropped all the way back down. Then it came back again. So I think at this time here, I bought some puts. So when I was up in here, I bought the 199 puts. The 199 puts are way down here. So I bought the 199 puts. I think they were about $45 or $40. Can't even remember now. $40 for the puts at this point. And then price dropped all the way back down. Came back up again after we closed the session this morning. Price came back up, and I sold my calls, which I didn't get very much for. I think it's about $45 here or something like that for my calls. These are my calls, these are my puts. And then I bought more puts. Decided to jump in and buy more puts because the puts were trading for less than $20. So I jumped in and bought some more for $16. And then the market started to go sideways, and finally, bang, it dropped all the way down. And so these $16 puts were worth $70 here. So that was really nice. So I got out of most of them. I held on to a couple. So I still got a couple of them going, expecting further decline. But as you can see, prices come back against it. So price needs to get back down to this area for me to even make any money. Right now, those $16 puts are $18 now. So I had them at 70, took some off, but I didn't take them all off. So that's my own chagrin there, I guess. So not a great day overall, just kind of, I'm up a little bit. Let me just see how much I'm up. Profit for the day. Yeah, up about $75 something, $76, 70, yeah, it's fluctuating. So nothing dramatic today, but that's okay. You can see we're inside of a pretty nasty little area here. We were gyrating around in this area and up and down, up and down, up and down. Finally broke through, but there's still no one really in control here. The bulls are still trying to fight. The bears are still battling, and it's a tough grind today. So that's the way it is sometimes. So a tough market to make any good profits today. So now I have to, in the last hour here, price has to come down dramatically for me to recoup and make a little bit more profit. So we'll see if that works out. All right. So I don't know if anyone was here with me this morning who's here this afternoon, but you probably saw what was going on. Like I said, we left around at this point here. Somewhere in this area here, we left about, yeah, right there. I think that's when we left off, and price then moved up, formed a 1, 2, 3 at this point, another little 1, 2, 3 here, and then after that, another 1, 2, 3, and then dropped. So now it's doing the structure. The entire structure is now this, and we should fall one more time to the lows. But at this time, it's late to get into any plays. So the last hour basically is just to kind of see how it plays out, and we can look at other things like earnings and things like that. All right, so I'll keep my eye on my final puts here to make sure that I can exit. Okay, so just to give you an idea, just a moment ago the puts were $18. When I just told you right there, they were 18 in this area here, and now they're $31. So they increase in price really quickly. So it's almost a double from the $18 already. It's just amazing. So just another drop here, and I'll be, I bought them. Remember, I bought them for 16. So I'm already double my money from the 16. Never mind, just in that space of time, just like that. That's like two. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you buy them to expire today?
Yes, that's why they're so inexpensive. So the key is to buy them for expiration for the day, because they're super inexpensive, and you can make quick, huge profits. This is a little secret that not very many people know about, or if they do know about it, they're afraid to do it, because you see on expiration day, your options, if you're drawn, let me do this again. That's such a terrible line. If you have options, this is the time axis. So 0 to let's say 1 week, let's say even 1 day. If you buy here, the options go something like this. If your price is moving in your direction, it's just this price over here. If price is going in your direction, it's great, it's good. But if it's going against you, it just declines really quickly as time is going by. So you have to have the option going continually in order to continue. So this kind of move here right now, all of a sudden I'm back to 18 again from the 31. So double, and now it's back to 18 again. It's just that quickly. Especially because time now is like right here. We're right here on time. We only have 50 minutes to go before expiration. So
you're really at 20. The 18 you were looking at is the delta.
No, I'm looking at the price. The price is I'm looking at the
199's puts are 18 right now.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how quickly they can deteriorate in price. But from just that little drop within a few minutes, it was from 18 to $30. It's just so amazing how fast that the price moves.
Another nice thing about this IWM now is that it has a bearish divergence with MACD.
Okay. So we should see some declines into this hour here, but will it be fast enough for the options to make it? If it comes again down and breaks this level here, breaks 200 even, I'll take the profits off because it's getting too close for comfort. All right, so what I wanted to look at, what we look at during the last hour here is the earnings calendar. So there are companies that are giving earnings today after the close. So I looked at this a little earlier and I noticed this stock here called Avis Budget Group, and their previous move was 108% move. 108%, that's just like ridiculous. And their expected move is 18% this time. So I thought I would take a look at that one because that's a huge move, overall, right? So let's see what they look like. Avis Budget Group. I'm going to go to the monthly chart. Wow.
Wow.
So they were up at $550 at one point. They're now at 198, and they've had quite a ride here. Weekly. Wow, it's very. So they've been in a downward mode for a while, and there is, however, on the weekly a 1, 2, 3 here. So they could be pushing to the upside. But let's take a closer look. We drop down to the 4-hour. Okay, very, very tough for them. I suppose in this with the COVID stuff, it's tough because nobody's traveling anywhere. So the market must be really hard for them to make it, right? So this could be why they're having such a hard time. So if I go back to the daily, this is from 2021. Yeah, it's just been totally downhill. Not looking so great for them here. There's the 4-hour. Let's go to the 1-hour. Okay, so there's the move. So you can see the structure now quite clearly, and they've come back to this level. I'm not even sure. This looks totally negative. So our structure would entail. I mean, in this case, we haven't really broken this level here. So we're kind of like right here. So we could see a drop, or we could see a push. But if it's a push to the upside, it wouldn't be that much of a push to the upside. But they're expected to be an 18% move. you know, that's a lot. That's like, you know, 30 some odd dollars here, right? 30
It
to
almost
36.
looks like a double top.
Yeah, it's an odd configuration here because they've broken the top of the one of this level. So they've broken this level, and that's not a good sign when it's broken that. So it's not really an impulse move. You know, it's it's more of a diagonal type of affair. So this kind of a pattern where we have like that. So the expected move would be back to the downside. And like you say, a double top. So that will be what? So looking at this here again. Put this over. Put them inside this channel. Yeah, it's kind of a diagonal. So yeah, the expected move will be the downside. So I'll be looking at more at the puts than anything else for this guy. So they're sitting at a 200. So maybe the 190 puts or something like that. Just see if it's a worthwhile play or not. There might not be very many options on it. We'll see. For the 18th. Okay, wow. George, if you look at this, the option chain on this,
I've been keeping watch on the option chain on IWM right now.
Oh,
what do you want me to look at?
That's fine, no problem. The cars, there's 7,000 open interest on the 190 puts.
Oh.
So it's huge. The average looks like, in the 50, 60 range, and there's 7,000 of them. So that's something's going on. But the price is ridiculous for Friday's expiration. The current ask is the bid is 1650. So it's 1650 right here. With prices here, and it's 1650 for these puts.
Wow.
So that's times 100 shares. So we're looking at $1,650 for one contract. Wow. So that's a pretty expensive contract.
Especially when you're not totally sure on which direction, right?
Well, with this one, I'd be pretty confident that it's going to fall, but I'm not going to spend $1,650. I did that with BioNTech. Spent $1,600 on one contract, and that was worthwhile. But you don't really want to do that too often. So yeah, $1,650 for that. That's I'm going to leave that one alone. Okay, so that's one. So sometimes we want to mitigate our risk, so we want to spend as little as possible. That's the whole key to the game here for us. All right, so that one, you can see the expected move is quite high. The next one that has a big expected move is ANET. So let me take a look at that one. ANET. We'll go to monthly. So they've had quite a run. And you can clearly see the pattern here, that move. So there's our structure again. And we know where we are in the structure at this point. We know that we're here. So that's the key takeaway. When you can see the structure, it really helps you to understand what's going on with the chart, and then you can make some decisions. So right now, you can see we have a head and shoulders, and we'd have a neckline. So looks like price wants to continue down. On daily, you could clearly see it now. So we have a 1, 2, 3 top down to this level over. So we have a 1, 2, 3 here that's pushing us to the downside. So we would look, I would, at this time, prices at 122, I would look for the 115 puts, something like that. So let's see. So that's from the daily time frame. So if we want to see this even better, we go down to one more time frame down to the 4-hour, and we'll see that 1, 2, 3 top right here a little better. Maybe. Okay, what's that? That's not the same chart. Let's try it again. No, okay, let's try an hourly. Okay, there we go. Not sure what's going on there. Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3 top right here. That's controlling this move to the downside. So we would expect price to fall at this point. Now, of course, weirder things have happened. We've seen a lot of times where we are in a fourth wave area and price opens up here the next day. But you have to take that risk. So the other possibility is to buy the puts and buy one call way out, maybe like a 133s or something like that, just for an insurance if you wanted to play that. So let's see what they cost first of all. ANET. How's IWM doing there, George? Probably
It's
not real.
been absolutely flat. It's
Okay.
right now at 20 cents.
Okay, so I'm up 4 cents. Woo! All right, so ANET 121, 122. So let's see, the 115 puts, they're very expensive as well. They're $4 for the puts. So that's $400 for the puts. So that's a bit expensive.
It was starting to get a move down in IWM at 24 cents right now. How much further down it'll go is a real question mark. This thing is as flat as it can be.
Okay, so the expected move was 12% on ANET. So 12%, that's about a $14 move. So if it went even $10 down, we'd be at 112. So it's $400 for those puts, for the 115s. And there's lots of volume and lots of open interest on it as well. So that looks like a reasonable play if you're willing to risk $400. That would be the play. Okay. And the next one that had some big expected moves were these other two here, AMKR. Let's take a quick look at that one. I won't go any further. AMKR. Whoops. Monthly. Okay, so, and again, if you can see the pattern, really helps. And we can see the pattern. So again, we have head and shoulders, and with neckline. So it looks like we're in a downward mode here. Two big red bars on the monthly, weekly, pushing to the downside. Now you can really see the head and shoulders. And our neckline is like right there. So we're on our way down. We have a 1, 2, 3 here at this point, and it looks like we're in a fourth wave at this point there. So we're dropping to the daily. Yeah, you can see it super clear now, right? 1, 2, 3 top, down to this level. So we're in a fourth wave area, similar to what the IWM was looking like, and we're just chopping up and down in it. So it's a tough.
Back to 15 cents right now.
Okay, it's a tough area because we're in a fourth, so price could go either way, but I'm not liking this one anyways. The price is not that dramatic, you know, so $20. The expected move was 15%. It's a $3 move, so it's not, and we're in a fourth wave, so it makes it tough because we're in a fourth wave. Price could go either way. It's what basically what I'm saying here at this point, but it should drop, you know, for all intents and purposes, it should drop, but because it's a fourth wave, we have A, B, C, D, we could go up as well. And then the drop. So I'll leave that one alone as well because it's a fourth wave. Any others? 18% on this guy. OLK, one last one. OLK, one last one. OLK. Monthly. Okay, it's a $20 stock as well, so I'm going to leave that one alone as well. Okay, I won't bother with it. I'll go back to see what IWM is.
We just made it pop up. We're at
IWM
8.5 cents right now.
daily, hourly. Okay, so boy, did we make a pop up, eh? Okay, so it doesn't want to come down. So I have lost my
When it hit the
remaining
24
contracts.
time to take it.
I lost my remaining contracts. That's okay. So you can see where we are though. We have a 1, 2, 3 top. We're in a fourth wave again.
Yeah.
So still the expected move is to the downside. So tomorrow morning, we can try to catch this move. Of course, unless it opens up down here, you know, we'll try to catch this move to the downside. So we'll have an understanding of where we are. There's also a larger 1, 2, 3 right here. Okay, so if I go to a higher time frame, 15.
You would have to roll your contract though, right?
Yeah. So this could, this is not really the controlling 1, 2, 3 at this point, this large one. It's more this. So we have a little bit of a push to come to the downside still. This also is a large 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So we have a large 1, 2, 3s within smaller ones. So we're inside of this channel pushing to the downside. So that's what's going on in there with the IWM. That's on the 15. Let's go to the hourly. Okay, so now at this point, you can see a large 1, 2, 3 top. We're pushing down in that channel. Don't think it's going to be pushing back up at this point here. We could though. It's totally possible because there is a 1, 2, 3 here as well. So this is where you have to really pay attention to the chart because there's a 1, 2, 3 that's pushing this up. That pushed that move up and coming to this level. We've come back to that same area. We could bounce off it, even albeit even short term, before we get that move back down again. So. Yeah, interesting one.
Okay, those things might be turning down right now.
A little late in the game for me.
Well, I mean, we have a half an hour to go yet.
How's the NASDAQ? Okay, the Qs.
The NASDAQ, it was in a slight downtrend, but we're not really getting a heck of a lot of directional movement.
No, not much movement at the end here.
Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit of push to the downside, especially on the SPYs. They're stronger down than the IWM, but we've got down to 11 cents now.
Okay, so for those who are joining us for the first time, what we're, just to reiterate what we're trying to do, our objective, we are trying to, let me go down to the 5-minute time frame. What we're trying to do is to find 123s. 123s is this pattern. This pattern occurs over and over and over in the charts. It's always at the end of moves. So at the end of a drop, you'll get a 1, 2, 3 that will start the next move. At the end of a move to the upside, you'll get a 1, 2, 3 that will end the move and start a new move to the downside. So the pattern is always consistent, and maybe not as pretty as I've drawn it, but that's what you should always expect. So for example, we get a move up to the top, you get a 1, 2, 3. You get a move even down to this level, and there's a 1, 2, 3 in here, and that starts that move to the upside. When it gets to the upside, it creates a 1, 2, 3, comes down. When it gets down to this level, it creates a 1, 2, 3 in there. You can't really see it, but there is one, and so on. So there's a larger 1, 2, 3 here. You can see that one clearly. So when you're on depending on the time frame that you're on, you're looking for ones that are reasonably sized for that time frame. So, this would be a reasonable size. This one here would be a reasonable size, and so on. This is a reasonable size. This here is, is a little on the small side. So, and once you understand where you are in its overall structure that we're looking at. So if I'm going down, the structure is like this, and if I'm going up, the structure is the opposite. So once you understand the structure, so once you get a 1, 2, 3 starting, then the structure plays out. So we would expect the structure to continue down. So once you understand where you are in the structure, then you would know that if you got to this point here, which would be here, you don't want to play going long, because the chances of you getting anywhere are going to be slim. So what you want to play is this guy here, or this guy here, to the upside, to the downside. This is where the money is made in these bigger moves. Okay, so when you get into this kind of area, it's very choppy, and you don't get anywhere. Okay, so this is the whole objective, is to try to find these 1, 2, 3 patterns. We can also go right down, and that's what we do in the morning when the market first opens. We go right down to the 1-minute time frame, and we find the 1, 2, 3 structures. So if we can find the 1, 2, 3 structures like that, this gives you the opportunities to get in to make a quick play. So for instance, if this was the opening of the morning, and we saw the first 1, 2, 3 there, we could get in right at this point in the structure. And the reason we would get in at this point in the structure is because it's made a 1, 2, 3. It formed a red bar at the bottom, and then a green bar broke that red bar. So that's telling us that the direction is to the upside. We would then place a stop either here or below to protect our entry. So your risk, if you put your stop below this point here, the number 3 points, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, that's your risk at this point. Okay, so very small risk. If you chose this as your stop, then of course your risk is a little wider, but nothing dramatic. And then you would have to wait out all this stuff in order to get that big move, but that would have paid dividends if you were patient to wait. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. Like I say, the 1, 2, 3 occurs all the time. It's just a matter of finding the right ones to enter and make these trades. Okay, so that's the objective, and that's what we do. It works quite well. This is a very sloppy day today, and this happens. Friday was a little bit more dynamic. Last Thursday was super dynamic. So you get, a mixture of days, of course.
The IWM is going in the wrong direction right now.
Yes, I think it's probably done now. It's moved to the upside here because we're in this chopped up affair here. So that's what we're trying to achieve, and the key is on the reason why we choose Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays is because these days are the expiration for the options, and specifically the indices, the iShares, the IWM, the Qs, all expire on these days. So you can play on like today, we can play and buy the options for inexpensively. So like I said, buying for $16 per contract. $16 is, you know, that's just amazing to buy a contract for $16. And then to see it, you know, go all the way up to, you know, $70. It's just phenomenal, that kind of movement. So this can occur real quickly. So the entire objective again is to limit your entry risk. So, you know, for $16, you can buy as many of these contracts as you want. So even for 10 of them, it's only $160. So 10 contracts for $160, and you sell them a little later for $700, right? That's very nice, you know, ROI there, right? In you know, a matter of an hour or two or three, you know, at most, yeah, it's well worth the risk to take those kind of trades. Now, what I did with those, I left a couple hanging. I took most of mine off. You know, I took eight of them off and left a couple hanging. And unfortunately, you can see prices gone back up, but that's okay. I made enough profit to cover all those losses and so forth, so it doesn't really matter. So that's the whole objective of what we're doing. It takes a while to understand and see the structures and the 1, 2, 3s and know where you are and so forth in it. But once you start to see it and believe in it, because the other thing is, you know, of course, believing. One thing to see it, but it's another to believe it, right? So you have to start to believe it, because it does do, as I'm saying, it's always creating 1, 2, 3s, and it's just again a matter of jumping into the right one at the right time. All right, so that's the key to it. The other things we do, like I just did, we looked at the earnings, and if there are opportunities in the earnings, we take some of those. I played Clorox, and what other one was that? Yeah, Clorox was a good example of one that I bought last week, or it was a week or so ago, and that gave their earnings. Let me just quickly just give you a quick recap of that. Let's go to the 4-hour on Clorox there. So yeah, so they were sitting here at the time before earnings, and you can clearly see there's a 1, 2, 3 here. So by seeing the 1, 2, 3 at this point, we can draw the structure. We know that the structure is going to be, you know, something like this, and then we should get a drop. I'm not, you know, of course, I wasn't expecting that much of a drop, but so I bought the 162 puts at this point when price was in here, and I bought them for, I think, about $138 or something like that. $138, and the next morning when price opened up, it opened up on, of course, on this bar, and you can see where price opened and it dropped, and these were worth like $1,600 at the time. So this is just incredible, the amount of, you know, this is your ROI here is just ridiculous. So this is why we like to play the options. If you can get it right, you know, it's great. Now, we don't always get it right, of course. So just to show you that, you know, I'm not just giving you all the goodies and stuff. We looked at Amgen and thought, okay, Amgen is sitting here at this point, looks like it should come down, because we have a 1, 2, 3 here, and it's coming through this area. It should rightly continue down. you can see what happened. It popped to the upside instead. This is very rare occurrence because in the structure, price usually breaks to the downside, but on the rare occasion, it can do that. So it's a very rare thing that I think it's around 8% of the time that this occurs, 8% of the time. So we're going with the probabilities, and in this case, we were wrong, and it went the opposite way. So my outlay for this put at that time was, I think, $200 or so. So that's my risk. So if you're okay with the risk, you take the risk. If you're not okay with it, you don't take it. So that was my risk. So that was fine. To lose $200 for the opportunity. Now, the other thing I could have done at this point as well, which I didn't do, I neglected to do, was to buy an insurance call. So had I done that, I would have been fine. So at this point here, and when price was in this area, what I should have done, and you can see prices come right back down to where it was, which is amazing. So what I should have done here that day was to buy a call. So since prices at 225, say buy the 240 calls, just buy even one, just for an insurance, and then buy my 4 or 3 of them, whatever, down to this level for my puts. But I didn't. I just bought the puts because I was so confident that it was going to fall, and instead I lost the 200. In this case, I would have made my 200 plus the profit. I would have lost the 200 here, but I would have made it all back on just on this profit move to the upside. But okay, so that's another way of mitigating the risk, is by buying a straddle, as it's called. It's called a straddle. You buy both ends. The worst case scenario, of course, is that price just stays right here, and then you lose both of them. But you can see this move pop to the upside. What it actually did was complete this structure here, and that was right back down into where it was originally. Amazing. So that was to look at that. So those are the earnings plays. The other plays that we look at also is we look at unusual options activity. So unusual options activity, we can look at, and this is super powerful as well. Just wait for this to refresh. Sorry, I've got a few number of things open here. Okay, so there are unusual options activity, unusual options volume. Those are two of the things we can look at. The other one is insider trading activity. Insider trading activity, I can look at buys and sells and so forth. So if I say I wanted to look at who is selling, who's selling options, I could include politicians in that scan, because in the options world, every option that's made has to be made public. So here's a good one. Actually, I looked at this one over the weekend. I thought this would be a good one. Estee Lauder Company. Ronald S. Lauder. He might have something to do with the company. He sold 700,000 of his shares for at $307 a share, for a transaction total of almost $215 million. So why is he selling so many of his shares? He's got 6,000 shares left. It's hilarious. You think about that. So EL, let's take a look at EL. So it's a good thing I looked at this, because I almost forgot about EL. Okay, so let's take a look at EL on the monthly chart. Okay, so Estee Lauder, Mr. Lauder, decides to sell all of his shares at $327, right here, somewhere in that area here. And you can see they were up at close to 380, and now they've dropped dramatically to 304. So he's not stupid. He's saying, okay, I'm going to bail while the bailing is good. and sold almost all of his shares. But look at the amount of money he just put, brought home. It's just amazing. So this looks very ominous, overall, that this thing could still continue down, right? So this might be a good option play. So that's why, we look at these. You can see that there is a 1, 2, 3. So that's the controlling 1, 2, 3. This has dropped us down to this level. So we're in a fourth wave area. So there's our structure. So once you understand where you are in the structure, and we're kind of somewhere in here, like right about there, we can look to just look for a 1, 2, 3 in here to take us out. Okay, so that's the daily. So we can go down and really look at it closer by going to the 4-hour. And
You're back to a nickel on those options.
Yeah, those options are dead in the water now, George. It would have to be a miracle for IWM to drop through to 190 at this point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even worry about it. So yeah, you can, again, the 1, 2, 3 here is controlling this move to the downside. So that puts us in the fourth wave area. That's why we're chopping around in it. And now we would just wait for a 1, 2, 3 here to catch this play. So being a trader that likes opportunities, I would look at the 280 puts on Estee Lauder, maybe for I mean, this thing has been falling rather quickly. This is a 4-hour chart. Since the beginning of the year, it's dropped from 380 to 280 practically. That's $100. So for it to move from 300 to 280, it can do that rather quickly. So I would look maybe a month out. So 18th of March or the 25th of March, or even say the 1st of April or something like that. Let's say the 1st of April, and we look at the 280 puts on Estee Lauder and just see what they are trading at. So that's the kind of thing that we do, and try to find some opportunities. So the next one, actually, the 14th of April is the next one. So the 280 puts are $800 for that right now. But if price were to move up, we could get them for less expensive. So that's the kind of thing you would look for, right? You're just trying to wait for this to form a 1, 2, 3, and then take the opportunity to buy the puts. You can buy any put you want as well. If you've got the money, you can buy. If say we're at 315, you can buy the 350 if there is 315. No, they'll probably be in tens, in the 300s. So you could buy the 310s, you could buy the 300s, you could buy the 290, you could buy the 280, and so on, because they're all in by $10 increments when they're above $200. So that's, of course, this would be very pricey compared to the 280s. If the 280s are 800, then these ones would be much more expensive. This one's 1100, and the 300s are 1460. So you can see that the price is just increasing. And the because this one's almost right at the money. Well, this is in the money actually. 310 would be $1,880 for those. So very pricey, but reasonable here. If we get a pullback, we could probably get them for $500 or something like that. That would be not too bad of a play. So those are the kind of options we look for, trying to find something that's unusual like that, where you're getting insider trading. I mean, why would this guy sell all of his shares at this price unless he knew something, or unless he was retiring? I mean, we don't know the full story, of course, but maybe he's retiring, but he still hung on to 6,000 shares, so that's kind of interesting. And that's just huge, money. So then another company, the CEO is selling 300,000 of his shares at $81. Transaction total $29.5 million, and he still has 1,600,000 shares left, 1,640,000 shares. He only sold 364,000 for almost. That's just crazy. He's selling 364,000 of his shares, and he still has 1,640,000. He makes 29 million on that. So Michael is doing okay. Yeah, so those are the kind of things you want to take a look at to see, and if you understand how to read the structure and so on, then these are the opportunities you have in the market to make some pips and points. So there's that. That's the stock Ares Management. He sold a whole bunch of them at $81. So either he's just taken advantage of this move, which it looks like that's what it is. He's not bailing on the company here. It looks like he's taken advantage of this huge move that's happened since the beginning of 2021, and he's saying, okay, I better take some off the table. I'm sure his wife's got something to say about that as well. So yeah, so this would be something to kind of keep your eye on, maybe to buy calls as because it still looks quite strong going forward. Although it is forming head and shoulders, but it doesn't look like it's a head and shoulders really that's going to collapse. It looks more like a play that's going to continue. And the reason I'm saying that is, again, if you can see the structure, then you understand what's going on. So I would expect that kind of move. All right, so any questions? So I've been chatting way too much here.
Hi, Lennox. If you could look at Tesla, is it a good candidate for buying puts?
Okay. Wow, look at this drop all of a sudden, George.
Yeah.
Into the last 10 minutes. So yeah, that's amazing.
It's only at 8 cents right now.
Yeah, so sorry, I will take a look at Tesla. My expectation from this morning was that we would get this drop. I thought we would, once we saw this not make it, once this didn't make it here, we came down, came back. My expectation was that we would fall. I was expecting it to fall.
At just a 50% loss.
Yeah, I could. I'll just wait. We got another 10 minutes, so I'll just hang in there. Maybe it'll drop a little bit more, and I can get my money back here. All right, let me take a look at Tesla.
I'll keep my eye on it.
Yeah, so the key in the game is to have an expectation of what the chart's going to do based on its pattern. So if you can do that, then that really helps. Okay, so Tesla. So as usual, I start from the monthly because you need to see the bigger picture of the chart. So you can see Tesla's in a downward mode right now. On the weekly, also looking a bit ominous here. So the controlling 1, 2, 3 was from here. We had a nice 1, 2, 3 there, pushes up to this level. So it looks like this is a fourth wave at this point. So we should bounce from here by rights. Of course, we could go further, but this is our structure. So we have to kind of believe in the structure. So since we came back, to this point, and we didn't breach, and we're turning to the upside, then we have to believe in that structure. So on the daily, we can take a closer look. Okay, so now on the daily, what I'm talking about, this chop, this is what we're looking at. So we're inside this channel like that. Okay, so now at this point, it forms a 1, 2, 3. So is this a legitimate 1, 2, 3 that will take us out? Or is this a controlling 1, 2, 3 at this point that's going to bring us down even further? You see, so we have two scenarios here where we're sitting at a very precarious point. We can either this is not looking like the nicest looking 1, 2, 3 that I've seen, and because we have a controlling 1, 2, 3 top right here, it looks more like a fourth wave, and we could drop through one more time. So that's my concern at this point. So there are two scenarios. We could break to the upside, but albeit it could be brief. Okay, so let me just do this again so you can see what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is here, that line. We could come back up to that line because we're chopping around, right? So we could come back to that line, and then we could get the move to the downside. Okay, or we could just break through to the downside when we get a 1, 2, 3 here. So there's a couple of scenarios that could play out in here. So Tesla's already given their earnings, I believe. So I don't think the earnings is going to be of any factor now. So it looks pretty choppy. It looks like more I look at this, the more it looks like it's going to go to the downside. So I'm going to drop down to the 4-hour and take a closer look. Okay, so yeah, we've got a 1, 2, 3 here. We're on our way down anyways at this point. So
Any insider trading on this that may shed some light on?
I don't know if you can search for a company in here. I don't think you can search for a company. So you'd have to go through the list, as it were, to see if there's any insider. You can't really search for a specific company.
Yeah, I tried to look it up and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just basically, I mean, if I go by symbol, right, then I can go backwards and see if, so no Tesla. Tesla's not there, right? So that's the only way you can, so that's a quick way of seeing if the company you're looking for is there. So here, for example, Charles Schwab, chairman of the board, sold 30,000 of his shares, picked up a cool 3 million, but he's still got 113 million shares.
Wow.
So Mr. Charles is doing all right, right?
Yep. Yes.
It's like hilarious, right?
Yes.
This guy here is just an American shareholder. It says he sold 296,000 of his shares. He made a cool 9.5 million, and he still has 9 million shares left.
Wow.
He needed to pay some taxes this year.
I guess, or it's alimony or something for the month. It's just hilarious when you look at these. It's just like you shake your head. It's amazing. So if you can ride the coattails of some of these people, here's Moderna. So what's going on with Moderna? Why Stephanie, the CEO, is selling her shares? She sold 19,000 of her shares for 3 million, and she's got 21 million shares left.
Wow.
So she's doing okay.
Yep.
But she just needed to go shopping, last weekend or whatever, right? So this is just you look at, this is America, it's serious, right? So you take a look at Moderna, and they've not been having a very good time. So she's selling because, of course, she can see the chart. Okay, everybody gets some profits. It's serious, right? Takes them off while I can, because it's showing that she sold them at $156 per share. So she's just selling right there. It's like, okay, I can't take any more of this, essentially, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's serious. Very, very interesting, that insider trading. So yeah, so if you can find opportunities like that, it's great. So yeah, Tesla, yeah, it looks like they are still weak overall. You can clearly see that from our 1, 2, 3 top here, and then we're down into this choppy area. We got a 1, 2, 3 here, and we're heading to the downside.
Downside,
So
yeah.
in the short term, at least, anyways.
Well, Lennox, another source told me that Tesla for the April 14th puts, it says buy them now because and go for the $700 strike price.
That's from, sorry?
From another source. Emails I get from all over, yeah.
So the 700 puts on Tesla?
Yes. And
Okay,
they're saying today buy the puts and the strike price 700
all right,
for
let's see
April
what
14th.
all right, let's see what they're trading for and how what
Okay.
the volume and so forth. So that's for the expiration on
April 14th.
April. Okay, April
Yes.
14. Wow, that's quite a ways.
Yes.
Okay, so the 700 puts are, I can't see them here. Let me just get all. The 700 puts are trading at $2,225 per contract
Okay.
right now. So they're $2,225 per contract. So if you're willing to fork over $2,225, there's a lot of volume and open interest on those particular puts. So somebody knows something.
Mm-hmm.
That's why wherever you got that information from,
Mm.
let me just show you how it looks, and then you'll
Okay.
get a great idea of what's going on. Right here. So there is the Tesla 700 puts right here, 2215, and the open interest is 1347, and the volume is 695. Now you look at the volume and open interest around it. You see,
Yes.
everything else is just normal.
Yes.
But somebody's bought a huge amount here.
Wow.
So somebody knows something.
Yes.
And again, here someone has bought a huge amount.
Right.
This is for the 550s. And they're more reasonably priced at they're more reasonably priced at $500 for 550s, but that's a long way away. So somebody knows something. That's why
Yes.
the volume is high on these. There's
Wow.
somebody that has an idea that this thing is going to fall, and dramatically.
It's probably
Musk himself?
yeah, Musk himself. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
We don't know who is doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, actually, you can know who's doing it. But yeah, so that's what these prices are. Very, very expensive for the 700s. But as they drop in price, you can see that that they're a little more reasonable.
Right.
Yeah, for $500, 550 when price is sitting at 875. That's quite a drop. But you have till this 22nd of April. So looking at this chart again, it is definitely possible. For price. Let's see. Let me go up to the weekly just to get a. Okay, so it is a possibility. Let me put the fibs on just to see where the fibs take us. Let's see where 2.618 takes us. Fib extension. So from here to here, back up. Okay, so here's 1.618. That's 750. Interesting, eh?
Very interesting. Math always works.
Isn't that something, eh?
It's
And then
something.
the 550s are not even on the map here. So 550s are much lower down. So
Right.
550s are, in around the 2.618 area, interestingly enough.
Wow.
So somebody, mathematically is figuring this out. And yeah, it makes sense. So these ones will be the ones to buy for sure, like the 750s
Right.
or the 700s.
Right. They're just so expensive.
Very expensive, and you've got
Yeah.
lots of time if you want to put $2,200.
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't be recommending that to anyone at this moment in
No,
time. This is not how we like to play it, but
no, that's a little too expensive for me.
yeah, but interesting though, eh?
It is, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you for
so
that
that's
analysis.
those are the kind of things we look at. Like I said, there's a number of things that we look at that give us, like I said, the ES, which is the E-mini futures. That helps us to gauge what the overall indices are going to do. This is a controller for all the indices, just like the US dollar is the controller for the major currencies in the forex. So that's what, once we can peg what this is doing, we have a great idea of what the others will do. So this morning I felt that this move up was going to play out to the top, and then we'll get a turnaround to the bottom. And that's how we can, know to jump in and play going down and so on. So it's just the one thing we can't really know is how fast is this going to play out, right? We're hoping that it does it really quickly, but it's sometimes very difficult to gauge. But once price starts to move, especially when it's moving down, it can go quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You see how fast this came down compared to how it's just slugging it going back up. So that's what I mean. All right, so that's a look at the Simple 123 today, and we really appreciate you guys coming and hanging with us, and I hope you've learned something, and we'll see you on Wednesday if you are so inclined to come and join us. All right.
Very good. Thank you, Lennox.
Thank you,
Thank
George.
you, George and
You're
Lennox.
welcome. You're welcome, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day or evening or morning, wherever you might be.
Yeah, beautiful Southern California.
Very
I'm
nice.
here. Very nice.
Very
80
nice.
degrees right now.
Don't say that.
Beautiful.
That's just,
Yeah,
I'm freezing. I'm standing inside my home and I'm freezing right now.
I know. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye now.
Lennox, can I see you in the development room?
Sure.